Beloved souls of infinite potential, each night, before the world grows silent, the gates to your subconscious swing open. In that sacred twilight between waking and dreaming, the universe leans close to hear what you truly believe. What will you whisper into the ear of creation tonight? The millionaire's secret is not in gold or numbers, it is in thought. For wealth begins not in the bank, but in the mind that dares to believe it deserves every good thing. The subconscious is the silent architect of destiny. It builds in the dark what you decree in the light. Every word you speak is a command to the unseen forces shaping your reality. When the lights dim and the noise of the world fades, speak to your inner self as a master speaks to a faithful servant. I am rich in ideas. I am rich in opportunities. I am rich in divine supply. Let these words take root. Let them sink into the fertile soil of your sleeping mind. For while you slumber, your subconscious toils, turning your affirmations into golden pathways of opportunity. It arranges circumstances, attracts allies, inspires brilliance, and ushers unseen wealth toward you. Do not lie down with fear, for fear plants weeds in the garden of your soul. Instead, lie down with faith. Wrap yourself in gratitude. Say to the universe, all that is mine by divine right now rushes to me with grace and ease. Speak it, feel it, believe it. Remember, words without feeling are empty shells. Speak your affirmations with joy, with expectancy, as though they were already true. The emotion is the electricity that lights the current of creation. And if the old voice of doubt whispers, "It's not working," reply calmly, "Peace, be still. I am reprogramming for abundance, and my results are certain." For repetition is the rhythm of mastery. Night after night, seed after seed, thought after thought, you are shaping your fortune. So tonight, and every night henceforth, let your final words before sleep be words of power. Let your mind feast upon the truth of prosperity. Let your subconscious receive the royal decree. I live in a universe of infinite supply, and that supply flows freely to me. Sleep in faith, awaken in victory, for as you believe, so shall you receive. The final thoughts before sleep hold a sacred power that few truly understand. As the day folds into night, the conscious mind grows quiet, and the subconscious mind opens like a vast, fertile field ready for planting. Whatever seed is dropped into this inner soil just before slumber will take root and begin to grow. Millionaires, mystics, and masters of manifestation all share a secret. They know that the twilight moment before drifting into sleep is the golden hour of creation. It is here that the mind is most impressionable, where faith can be sown and fear dissolved. Those who understand this mystery use the night not as a time of worry or regret, but as a spiritual workshop where tomorrow's success is silently crafted. When one lies in bed, between wakefulness and dreaming, the mind begins to move from the conscious to the subconscious. The logical, reasoning part of the brain drifts away, and the emotional, receptive self awakens. It is this deeper self that determines what we attract, how we act, and ultimately, what we receive. Therefore, the last thoughts we hold before we sleep are not idle, they are instructions to the subconscious. Millionaires know this well. They do not close their eyes thinking of debts, doubts, or delays. They close them thinking of growth, gratitude, and abundance. They use this time to speak prosperity into their soul, declaring, I am wealthy in mind and spirit. I am open to infinite supply. All that I need flows to me easily and effortlessly. These words are not mere sentences. They are creative forces. The subconscious, hearing them repeatedly, begins to accept them as truth. And once something is accepted as truth within, the outer world must reflect it. Just as a magnet cannot help but attract metal, a mind filled with wealth consciousness cannot help but draw in opportunities. The subconscious does not argue, it does not analyze, it simply obeys. Therefore, when one feeds it the vibration of abundance, night after night, it must act in accordance with that vibration. But many people do the opposite. They fall asleep rehearsing their fears, worrying about bills, or regretting the past. They unknowingly give the subconscious a script of lack and limitation, which it then performs flawlessly. The difference between a millionaire mind and a struggling one often lies in this single nightly habit. The wealthy see their imagination as sacred ground. They know that as they drift into dreams, the universe is listening, arranging circumstances, and preparing miracles in response to their inner declarations. Nightly affirmations are not about convincing oneself, they are about aligning oneself with divine truth. The truth that supply is infinite, that success is natural, that one's desires are not distant dreams but divine possibilities awaiting permission to manifest. When spoken with faith and emotion, these affirmations become a lullaby to the soul. They soothe the spirit, dissolve resistance, and reprogram the mind to expect prosperity as naturally as the sun expects to rise. Each night, as the stars appear, speak your abundance into being. Let your final thoughts be of wealth, ease, and fulfillment. In that stillness before sleep, you are not merely resting, you are creating. The millionaire's secret is simple. While the world sleeps in doubt, they dream in riches, and the subconscious faithful and tireless brings their dream to life. True affirmations are not simply words spoken into the air, they are living vibrations that shape the very fabric of reality. Each thought, each declaration, carries a frequency that radiates beyond the mind and touches the unseen world. The difference between idle words and creative power lies in emotion. A phrase spoken without feeling is a hollow shell, but a phrase spoken with conviction, gratitude, and expectancy becomes a spark of divine energy. The subconscious mind responds not to mere syllables, but to the emotional charge behind them. It is the feeling that fuels manifestation, the invisible current that turns thought into form. When one affirms wealth, it is not enough to repeat, "I am prosperous." The words must be felt deeply, as though the abundance is already flowing freely through life. The emotion of joy, gratitude, and certainty is the key that unlocks the subconscious gates. Millionaires understand this principle intuitively. They do not simply think of wealth, they feel wealthy. They walk, speak, and breathe with the vibration of abundance long before material riches appear. Their emotional state is the magnet that draws opportunities, partnerships, and ideas to them. The universe mirrors emotion, not speech. Therefore, when one vibrates at the level of wealth, wealth must respond, for like attracts like. Vibration is the language of creation. Every emotion sends out a signal, and that signal calls back matching experiences. Fear attracts more reasons to fear. Gratitude attracts more blessings to be grateful for. Doubt creates delay. Faith creates acceleration. This is why those who understand spiritual law guard their emotions carefully. They refuse to indulge in bitterness, envy, or despair, for they know that these states broadcast frequencies that repel abundance. Instead, they nurture joy, peace, and appreciation, for these vibrations draw prosperity with grace and ease. When you speak an affirmation, the heart must be engaged. The subconscious is moved by sincerity, not repetition. It must feel the truth of your words. Speak with warmth, imagine the reality as already yours, and allow yourself to dwell in the feeling of completion. This is the emotional alchemy that transforms thought into substance. You may not yet see the evidence with your physical eyes, but the vibration has already been sent forth into the universe, and it cannot return void. Every genuine feeling of abundance is a prayer answered in advance. Emotional alignment also means releasing resistance. Many people affirm prosperity while secretly fearing lack. Their emotions contradict their words, and the subconscious becomes confused. One must therefore learn to speak and feel in harmony. When saying, "I am rich," let there be no shadow of doubt, only the serene confidence that the universe is already working in your favor. Let gratitude fill every corner of your being. Gratitude is the purest vibration of all, for it declares that abundance is already present. The millionaire's vibration is not built overnight, it is cultivated through awareness and practice. Each day, they align their emotions with the truth of their divine inheritance. They choose joy when faced with uncertainty, gratitude when tempted by doubt, and confidence when confronted by delay. Through this steady alignment, their energy becomes irresistible to success. The feeling of wealth precedes the fact of wealth, and the vibration of abundance always calls its likeness home. To program the subconscious for wealth, one must first learn the art of assumption, the sacred act of claiming one's desire as already fulfilled. Faith is not mere hope. It is the unwavering certainty that what you seek has already been granted in the invisible realm and will soon take form in the visible. The mind that assumes wealth does not plead for riches. It lives from the feeling of abundance now. This is the law of assumption, the law that governs manifestation, the law that transforms thought into tangible success. Those who understand it move through life with quiet confidence, knowing that their inner conviction shapes their outer condition. Fear is the great thief of manifestation. It whispers, "What if it doesn't happen?" And the moment that fear is entertained, the creative current weakens. Faith, however, is the great builder. It says, "It is already mine." And with that declaration, the subconscious begins to move mountains. Faith plants the seed and knows that it will sprout, even if no sign of life appears above the soil. Millionaires, visionaries, and spiritual masters have all harnessed this invisible law. They do not wait for proof to believe, they believe, and therefore proof arrives. Faith precedes fact. It is the inner evidence that brings forth the outer result. When one assumes the feeling of wealth, everything in their vibration changes. The tone of their voice carries confidence, their posture straightens, and their eyes reflect assurance. The subconscious, receiving this emotional message, begins to act upon it as though it were already true. It organizes thoughts, behaviors, and circumstances to align with this inner assumption. You begin to think like a wealthy person, make decisions like one, and naturally attract the same frequency of people and opportunities. This is not magic. It is divine law responding to your belief. The universe mirrors your inner state with perfect accuracy. Faith is not passive. It is a living force. To have faith is to rest in the knowing that your good cannot be withheld. It is to rise each morning with expectancy, as though the promise has already been delivered. This is how the subconscious is trained to accept abundance as natural. The more you assume wealth, the more familiar it becomes, until lack feels like an old dream that no longer belongs to you. The millionaire's mind holds no room for poverty thinking because it has been so thoroughly conditioned to believe in supply, opportunity, and divine right action. Faith and assumption dissolve delay. The person who doubts sends mixed signals into the universe, affirming prosperity one moment and fearing loss the next. But the one who assumes success as inevitable moves with the rhythm of divine timing. Every step they take is guided, every door opens with ease, and every challenge turns into opportunity. Faith turns obstacles into stepping stones because it knows the end result is secure. When you live in assumption, you are no longer waiting for blessings, you are walking in them. To assume wealth is to honor the truth that the universe has already said yes. Persistence is the quiet miracle worker behind every great transformation. To reprogram the subconscious for wealth is not an act done once, but a sacred discipline practiced day after day, night after night. Just as a sculptor returns again and again to the marble, shaping, refining, and revealing the masterpiece hidden within, so too must one return daily to the work of mental creation. Each affirmation, each visualization, each declaration of abundance chisels away the old beliefs of lack and limitation until the mind stands clear and radiant, reflecting the truth of divine prosperity. Wealth is not built in haste. It is revealed through consistency, faith, and persistence. The subconscious does not change through occasional inspiration, it responds to repetition. Every thought that is persistently impressed upon it becomes a command it must obey. This is why those who achieve great wealth and success understand the power of daily mental conditioning. They know that one cannot simply wish for abundance. One must train the mind to accept it as natural. It is through persistent affirmation that the old patterns of fear, doubt, and scarcity are dissolved. With every repetition, the new belief grows stronger until it replaces the old entirely. What was once effort becomes instinct. Prosperity thinking becomes the new normal. Many give up too soon. They plant the seeds of wealth but abandon them before they can sprout, impatient for instant results. But the wise understand that every seed requires time to grow in the unseen before it can bear fruit in the visible. Persistence is the proof of faith. It is the refusal to give in to appearances, the steadfast knowing that what has been affirmed will, in due season, appear. The person who persists walks by inner vision, not outer evidence. Each night, they continue their affirmations. Each morning, they give thanks as though the manifestation were already complete. Their consistency becomes magnetic, drawing to them every resource, idea, and opportunity necessary for their success. Persistence also builds power. Every time you choose faith over fear, you strengthen your inner authority. Each repetition of truth deepens the groove of belief within the subconscious until it becomes automatic. The mind begins to act on behalf of your vision without effort, attracting circumstances that match your dominant vibration. The miracle of persistence lies in this invisible transformation. You may not notice the shift at first, but one day, you find that your thoughts no longer wander to worry. Your speech naturally reflects abundance, and opportunities seem to appear with perfect timing. That is the fruit of disciplined repetition. Millionaires, whether by spiritual understanding or by practice, live by this law. They are persistent not because they are desperate, but because they are devoted. They understand that wealth is not a race, but a revelation, the gradual unfolding of inner belief into outer reality. They hold to their vision with calm certainty, knowing that divine timing never fails those who persist. Every affirmation, every prayer, every grateful thought is a brushstroke in the masterpiece of success. Through persistence, the mind becomes a perfect instrument of creation, and wealth, once imagined, must appear in form, for the law of consistency cannot be denied.